Right. This is another way I do some scouting. So I look here at players that other teams want to sign, and I take a look at them myself. This Ashley Baker, I'm intrigued because he seems to have really good teams chasing him, and yet very rarely do I see someone who's so wanted and yet doesn't really have anything that I see as being good. But then my new favourite name of all time, Charles Charlesworth. The only way that name could be improved is if it had the third after it. That would be an awesome name then. Charles Charlesworth III. I don't know if anyone's heard of a game. I only was introduced to it this week, but there's a game called Her Majesty's Spiffing. And Charles Charlesworth sounds like the kind of person that you'd expect to find in that game. If you don't know what I'm talking about, look it up. It is such a funny looking game in many different ways. Okay, Mr. Baker. Yep, the ultimatum always works. Appears at the transfer offer. Yep, that's fine. Yep, that's fine. Defensive positioning. That's something else that pretty much every game my scout suggests I go defensive positioning. And I mean, 2 matches ago that would have been really nice. Maybe I wouldn't have conceded. Certainly not the same goal twice. That's very disappointing. Wow, there's a lot of players that need fitness as well. Right, bear with me everyone for 1 second. There we go, sorry about that. I'm sat here with 2 layers on because I was cold. Now I'm really hot, so I just had to take 1 layer off. I've had to have my window shut. Who else was affected by the storm yesterday? I must admit, like, I wouldn't say I was very affected by the storm, but I could have been if I hadn't have battened down the hatches yesterday. It's a very bad storm. I don't know why. I think it's a bit disrespectful that they called it Doris, because it sounds so ridiculous when you say it out loud. But people were killed by that storm. I think it's a very stupid name. Just spanked the under 26 nil. Also nicknamed Charles Charlesworth to add to the third. Yeah, Charles Charlesworth the third. Charles Charlesworth. It's like J. Jameson from was it J. James Jameson from Spider-Man? Just sounds like that kind of. It sounds like a cartoon character, doesn't it? Charles Charlesworth. Maybe like a secret agent. But yeah, the storm. Bad storm. Really bad storm. Let's hope no one who could be watching this was affected by it. I nearly got hit in the face by a gate. I managed to get out of the way of it. That's the closest I got to being in trouble. Apart from that, I was deep in the bowels of university, so I'd never have been affected. Right, who is our next game against? Oh yeah, Bognor Regis, the big grudge match. Let's hope we can get a good result. I don't think I've beaten Bognor yet. Don't think I have, but then again I might have done so and just not realised. That's happened before. By the way, FM Noob, would you say it's a good thing that you've just spanked your under 20s 6-0? I mean, it would be worse if they spanked you 6-0, granted. That's definitely true. But sometimes I do want my... Like when the youth candidates play my under 18s at the end of every season, I always want the youth candidates to win. Because that then means that the players I'm bringing in are better than the ones that I've already got. And sure enough, not so much at the moment, although I have spent some of that 5 million that we got for the training ground sale. I have spent some of that improving my youth facilities, so very, very soon we should have some good youth players challenging for a first team role, and that would be good. But then, yeah, you do want your first team to be able to beat your kids. That's always a good sign going into the season. I guess I kind of made the mistake. I don't know actually how much this has an effect on the players, but when I do my pre-season friendlies, I always look for the money spinners rather than the games that we have a chance of winning. So I suppose confidence-wise, the players are playing against good players, but they are always losing, and that can't be good for morale. But then the club is benefiting financially. There's a tree that came down a couple of streets away from me, but it was the main road into sort of the area where I live. So we got two main roads that go into where I live. There's one called Birchwood Avenue and there's one called Cornerfields, I think it is. And one of those roads was blocked. So yeah, it wasn't great. You know, I knew people that were flying on aircraft, not actually flying. I knew people that were flying in and out of the country that yesterday, and yeah, it's worrying because you don't know whether they're okay or not. Anyway, let's talk about positive things, shall we? So we have got poor youth facilities still, but we are right on the cusp of playing Bognor Regis. Jones has just come back to full training, which is good news. Constantinu, I think, is quite close as well, which is good. Aha, these are players who I've tried to sign in the past. And to be honest, there aren't many that I would still want to try and bring in. Kevin Douglas, maybe. Well, you already are with me, so I don't know why you're on this list. Got Montrose in the cup, just did draw. That's not a bad draw for both teams. Oliver Bennett. Yes, he's someone I tried to bring in. He's got pretty good stats, and he went and chose Worthing over me. So he's going to regret it one day, I'm sure. Tyler Walker, let's give you a new contract, my friend. He was actually on the transfer list at the end of last season, not through my doing. He actually requested to leave. started giving him a run in the team, and actually he did the right thing and he requested that he be taken off the transfer list. So credit to him there. So I've known players be stubborn and just leave anyway, but not him. He was frustrated because he wasn't getting first team football, so I started giving him what he wanted, and as you saw in the last game, he's still got it. He set up that good goal. That's cheating, FM noob. I don't condone cheating. Wait, who's that? That's Scott. Oh yeah, he wants to leave anyway. I might as well just let him. Kevin James, Director of Football. I might keep him on for one more season. I am getting to the point now where I'm thinking perhaps I should be looking at getting someone with a bit more nous to be my Director of Football. Just as we're going up the league, especially when we get into the Football League, that's a big change. Sometimes you have to make a big change. Right, match number 3. Constantinu is available, so I'm going to stick him on the bench. Good news there. In terms of other players that are available, there's no one else really that I'll put in the team. I think everyone else is where they should be. Let's play. Okay, so we're looking for a win. A win takes us to 45 points, which puts us back in 6th. There are teams around us with games in hand. Hello, Allman Gaming. Week's been good, very busy. I think I've mentioned this before. I'm doing a project at university at the moment that involves virtual reality using the HTC Vives. What my job is to bring people in from other areas of the university and train them in how to use the Vive. And then we're using a program called Tilt Brush, so they create a piece of art in a 3D space. So I've been in uni for something like 20 hours this week, training people up as well as attending lectures. So it's been a very long and very hard week, but I'm feeling good. That's the main thing. If it was long and hard and I was feeling rubbish, then I'd be moaning a lot more. But it's been a good, productive week. How about you? And in fact, everyone who's watching this, how has your week been? I should start doing this more often. How has your week been? If you're watching this on YouTube, let me know in the comments. Also, if there's things people want me to talk about during streams, let me know in the comments. And let me know in the chat. I have no problem. If it's football related, if it's not really related to the stream, then now's probably not a good time. But if it's related to the stream, then by all means. Let me know what you want me to talk about, and I'll do my best for you. There's actually football on tonight. I did not know that. It is Championship, but it's not really related to Newcastle, so there you go. What can I say? Right, how are we looking out there? Amos not having the best game of his career, but he is wearing that protective gear, so that's probably affecting him. Apart from that, Andrew and Edge aren't exactly at their best, and Ekpetita is also having a bit of a rough game. Yes, I nearly delayed tonight's stream till 7:30, but I looked at the time and it was getting close to 7. I think it was like 5 to 7, and I just thought I can set this up in 5 minutes, so I got it up and going. So it was a bit impromptu. I didn't have a chance to really tweet out in advance that I was going to be going live, so I do apologise for that. But yeah, 20 hours is a long time. I was in for 9 hours in a single day. The 2 championship matches, Burton are at home to Blackburn, and Wolves are at home to Birmingham, and it's 1-0 to Blackburn and it's 2-0 to Birmingham. Right, let's score a goal, team. Come on. Push forward. Let's get Constantinu on. Try and get a goal out of him. Let's also bring Ola Sanya on down that right-hand side. Come on, Walker. Don't lose the ball there. He had so much space to work in. Andrew nearly winning it back. Rooney does intercept. The other advantage of playing 3 centre-backs. Great header there by Amos to Andrew. You watch Andrew and Amos combine for a goal now, because I know they're both coming off. Oh no, never mind. I can try and keep you updated on the scores, anyone who does want to know. They don't come through on my phone, but I check Twitter quite a lot, so we'll see. Oh yeah, that's the other thing. The other good piece of news. We're starting to score from corners. Not so much there, but it wasn't that a lot more dangerous than Hughes just pumping it to the front post every time and it getting cleared. McKee takes corners, and his corner taking is poor, by the way. Let's have a look. His corner taking is 6, and yet he puts it in high into the box and we actually create attacking chances. So that's always a turnout for the books. I don't really want this to be a 0-0 draw, but it's looking ever likely. Unless we do snatch a very, very late winner. And it looks very, very unlikely now. We started in, so imagine the Premier League is tier 1 or level 1 of the English football system. We started in level 10 and we are now in level, let's see, Premier League is 1, Championships 2, League 1 3, League 2 4, Conference 5. So we're level 7. We're level 7 now. So we did have 3 successive promotions by 3 league titles, and then we hit the buffers a bit and we just avoided relegation. We literally finished 1 place above relegation 2 seasons ago. Last season we finished 14th, so we rose up the league. This season I would like to think we could get automatic promotion, but my aim is to reach the playoffs at least, and then push forward from there. Hopefully get promoted again. If we get promoted again, the budget will increase and we can bring in some better players again. But yeah, a 0-0 draw. It's not a defeat, so I'll take that in my stride. And we've got another home game against Hastings, who are 3rd in the league. So a 0-0 draw against 7th. Now we've got a home game against 3rd. We'll go for attacking movement, because I think we're nullifying our attack a little bit by constantly focusing on defence. Vanarama South. Well, that's the league we'd get promoted into. Yep, I'll keep an eye on Burton for you. I have sort of ties to Burton. There's a lot of ex-Steamage players who've played for Burton over the years. Lucas Akins is the most... Oh, is the one who I think who's still there. Maybe... Is John Messinio still there? I don't even know. But Lucas Akins, John Messinio and Phil Edwards are all ex-Steamage players. But Gary Rowett's last game in charge of Burton before he went to Birmingham was against Steamage at the Lamex, and we beat them 1-0. Hehehe. They were top of the league at the time as well, I believe. I'd like to think our path, Hatfield Town's path, is very similar to AFC Wimbledon's. Started from the bottom, rising up. I believe this isn't the AFC, but there is an AFC Hatfield. I don't actually know what division they're in. I should probably check that. I know it's lower than Hatfield Town. But I'm not quite sure how much lower. It's going to be a bit of a short one tonight. So we've done 3 games so far. I might do one more after the Hastings game. So I think we got first after that. So I think that'll be the last match of the stream. So it's a short one tonight. Tomorrow, I won't be doing Football Manager tomorrow, but I probably will be live streaming again. I'm fancying something like Space Engineers or Kerbal Space Program. Something where I can actually build stuff. I like to get my hands dirty, as you know. There's an engineer inside me still banging on the door trying to get out. But as I say, yeah, short one tonight. Maybe a longer one tomorrow. Next Friday, I'm in uni next week for pretty much the same hours as I have been this week, if not more. So next Friday will probably be a shorter one as well. But then the Friday after that, it should be quite long again. I think the reason AFC Hatfield exist is a very similar reason as to why FC United of Manchester exist. So in real life, I don't think making that change would be a very popular decision on either side. In game, it would be different, of course, but it's worth thinking about. I think it'd be a very strange thing for a, unless you mean on a different save game, of course. But I think it'd be a very strange thing for a Champions League winning manager to drop right back down into the non-league. I mean, we'll see, won't we? We will see. Right, I'm going to skip through this as much as I can because I want to get into the match. Very, very close now. 0-0 draws. They really are the worst thing in football, aren't they? The fact that neither team scores, you just cancel each other out. That's not how I like to play football. Even if we lose, I can at least say there's a goal involved. 0-0 draws are just, I don't know. I think that's why they say drawing is worse than losing. No, I don't want to work for Berry Town. The number of times I've lost to you, there's no way I'd work for you. Yeah, Hatfield Derby would be a very interesting thing indeed. I mean, any kind of derby involving Hatfield will be quite interesting. There's a lot of teams around Hatfield. You know, Watford aren't that far from Hatfield. Stevenage, obviously aren't that far. Luton. I mean, Stevenage's local derbies include Luton, Cambridge, Northampton, Wickham, MK Dons at one stage. And they're nowhere near, really, any of those places. They're like an hour's drive. I think, well, Luton, no, Luton's like 10 minutes away. But the rest are all like an hour drive away, so and they were considered local derbies. Senior County Division 1 for AFC Hatfield. I remember once, I think it was when I was like 17 or 18. I think it's my mum knows someone who works for AFC Hatfield, and they were short on players one week. I very nearly got to play for them. That would have been very, very interesting. To actually then go ahead, if I do manage them, to go ahead and manage a team that I've actually played for as well. That, yeah. So many different mind-bending facts going on there. Right, can we play this match now? There's Hughes. It's been postponed. Oh, well that sucks. I've asked for a new pitch. Hopefully we're going to get one. So many matches called off due to waterlogged pitches or frozen pitches, or it's just the fact that it's been snowing. Ridiculous. I mean, yeah, we're non-league, but come on. That's very non-league. Yeah, I'd say Bury Town. I have nothing wrong with Bury Town. I don't have a grudge against them or anything. The only thing I will say is I keep losing to them, and there's players that I really want to sign that go there instead, or there's players of theirs that I want to sign that reject me, and I'm starting to have a problem with them because of that. That's the thing I have a problem with. Newcastle got Bristol City. I nearly forgot then. Stevenage are away to Crewe. Newcastle are at home to Bristol City. And I'm looking forward to both matches. Even though I won't be present at either of them. I'll be sat here listening to it on my phone. Listening to Borough Player. And watching Sky Sports News. That's what I like doing. I almost look forward to away matches because it means I can do that. I love going to football. I love watching football live, but sometimes I just like sitting at home and watching Sky Sports News instead. So an away game for Stevenage always brings me joy for that reason. I'm more worried about the gap between Newcastle and Brighton, to be perfectly honest. If we end up doing other teams a favour, then fair enough, but right now, couldn't care less about Brentford, couldn't care less about any other team other than Newcastle and Brighton. Colwyn Bay are the next team to offer me a job. No, thank you. I've rejected bigger teams than them. Bradford City are the biggest team to have offered me a job. Not Bradford Park Avenue, or the other Bradford team that's non-league, but actual Bradford City. League 2 Bradford City offered me a job. Or offered me an interview, sorry. They didn't offer me the job, they offered me an interview. And I rejected them. That's fair enough. No, believe me. If it was me, I'd be saying the exact same thing. If it wasn't for the... if Newcastle... Actually, this was weird, because I watched Newcastle Villa the other day. And I have a friend at uni who had money on it, so he was watching it very closely as well. And he was almost celebrating the goals more than I was, because it meant he was winning his bet. But before the match, they had Kevin Nolan there, and they were comparing the team that he played in when we were in the Championship to the team now. And I would always say that the team from 2009-10 was better, because we won the league quite convincingly. But actually, the team now has got more points at this stage of the season and scored more goals. And yet, we're struggling to stay ahead of Brighton, and we're only just staying ahead of Huddersfield and Reading. So it's a very surreal feeling. Just the whole thing of again, if I was in your position, I'd be wanting the same thing. But I'm so worried that Newcastle are going to blow it right now. That's why I'm sort of saying that. Like, I couldn't care less about other teams, because it feels so much tighter than it perhaps even is. All these pundits keep saying that we've still got it in the bag, we'll still be fine by the end of the season, and I'm really struggling to sort of keep it together at the moment. I would not say that you've got an easy 3 points against Rotherham. This championship season is very unpredictable. I mean, Newcastle, very good example. You know, we beat Brighton, we lose to Wolves. We beat Rotherham, we lose to Huddersfield. You know, there's swings and roundabouts all the time. Right. I need to work out how to pronounce this team as well. Is it Leiston or Leiston or yeah? Can't speak. I'm going to say Leiston or Leston, because it's close to Leicester. Although the Seta bit comes from the. Oh God, I don't know. I think the problem now is because I'm so critical of myself pronouncing things, I'm over analysing everything. Leston. I'm just going to call them Leston. Bloody English language. It is. Championship is nearly more competitive and interesting than the Premiership. Leiston. That just doesn't sound right. It probably is right, but it just doesn't sound it. How strange. Mind you, Greenwich is a good one. Norwich is a good one. Warwick is another good one. So I say I hate the English language sometimes, because I'm a native speaker, but you wouldn't know it half the time. Honestly. Anyway, Leiston. Entimis11, welcome to the stream. Hope you're enjoying it.